The rain hammered against the cracked roof of a tiny house in a small town called Berper. Inside, under a dim yellow bulb, sat Meher, a frail 18-year-old girl with tired eyes but an unshaken spirit. Her books were torn, pages marked with coffee stains and sleepless nights. On the table lay another failed result, her third time failing the medical entrance exam. Her mother's voice came softly from the kitchen. Meher, you should rest. Maybe it's time to think of something else. But Meher only tightened her grip on the paper. No, Emma, she whispered. I'll try again. One day, I'll wear that white coat. One day, I'll make you proud. Her father, once a factory worker, had passed away years ago in an accident, leaving behind debts and dreams. Since then, her mother worked as a tailor, stitching clothes through the night, while Meher worked part-time at a cafe to support them. Each evening, after serving customers coffee and cleaning tables until midnight, Meher would drag herself home, open her books, and study under the flickering light. Her coworker, Rahim, often teased her gently. You know, you could be a great manager here someday. Meher smiled faintly. No. I don't want to serve coffee all my life. I want to serve people. But with every failure, whispers began to grow louder in her tongue. Poor girl, she just doesn't have it. She's wasting her mother's money. Maybe medicine isn't for people like her. Still, Meher didn't stop. She worked harder. Her mother sold her only gold earrings to buy her a used laptop. Meher started watching free online lectures, learning between customers' orders, reading anatomy notes during coffee breaks. Years passed. 4th attempt. Failed. 5th attempt. Failed. 6th attempt. Failed again. By now, even Rahim had stopped joking. Maybe it's time to stop punishing yourself, he said softly one night as they cleaned up the cafe. Meher looked up, eyes tired but burning. Rahim, do you know how many times Edison failed before making the light bulb? He shrugged. 10,000, she said, smiling weakly. And if he had stopped at the 999th, we'd still be in the dark. That night, she studied until her eyes burned. She slept on the table, her hand resting on a page that read, The heart never gives up. By her 10th attempt, Meher was 27. The world had moved on. Her friends were married, some with children. People no longer mocked her, they simply forgot she existed. But Meher had one thing left: faith. Her mother's health was failing, her hands too weak to stitch. Meher took extra cafe shifts, sometimes skipping meals so her mother could have medicine. Still, every night, after wiping down tables, she studied whispering the same prayer, just one chance, Allah. Just one. Then came the exam day. She took a deep breath, entered the hall, and wrote with trembling hands, not with fear, but with fire. When the results came out 2 months later, she didn't have the courage to check them. Rahim ran to her house, panting, Meher. He shouted, waving his phone. You did it. You passed. She stared blankly for a second. Then tears filled her eyes, her knees gave way, and she fell to the floor laughing, crying, and praying all at once. Her mother hugged her, whispering, You did it, my daughter, you never stopped believing. Meher's journey didn't end there. She joined a government medical college, often skipping meals to afford books. She graduated with distinction, and instead of joining a private hospital for high pay, she opened a free medical clinic in her town, the same place where people once mocked her. Every morning, children and elders lined up outside her small clinic. She treated them for free, using donations and her small savings. When her first patient, a poor farmer, held her hands and said, You're an angel, Dr. Meher, she smiled with tears. Years later, when Rahim came to see her, now running his own cafe, he joked, So, dear Meher, do you remember the day you said you'd light up the world? She smiled, adjusting her stethoscope. I remember. And now, every healed heart is a light. Epilogue. Full circle hook. Years later, when a young girl came to her clinic crying because she failed her exam again, Meher placed a hand on her shoulder and said, Don't count your failures, child. Count your courage. Because the day you stop trying is the only day you truly fail. The camera pans out Meher standing in her white coat, surrounded by patients who once doubted her. Her voice echoes softly, Failing isn't the end, it's the foundation of your victory.